All right, welcome back to Ben Zoogle Office Hours. This is a weekly live we do where we sit around, we talk about music, and we talk about something specific too to do with music. And also, it's always tips. It's tips on how to improve your career as an independent musician, how to go about promoting yourself, how to go about improving your website, improving your music marketing. So we like to just spread the love in terms of tips and knowledge, wealth of knowledge to everybody watching and all our subscribers here on YouTube. So if you are popping in, these live streams, the nature of them is that we have people coming in and out all the time. So feel free to let me know your name, where you're from, what kind of music you play, what kind of music you listen to. Let me know. And also post a link to your Ben Siegel website so I can check it out. Would love to see where everybody's coming in from and what people have built so far on our platform. So definitely post poll. Even if you're watching the replay later on YouTube, you're not here live, post in the comments. Post a link to your website so I can check it out. I respond to all comments. I see them all. So if you're watching after the fact, you can still interact. Just post down there, and I'll definitely see them soon after. Doughboy God, yeah, back again. A solid regular on the Ben Ziegel Lives here. All right, so let's get today's presentation going. So the topic today is really something that's relevant for everybody, because whether you've already had your website built, so you're not necessarily looking for tips on how to build out your website like we do have on here sometimes. So whether or not you're in that position, this is something, the information that's useful for everybody. Adrian Earnshaw, evening. Thanks for popping in, Adrian. Let me know where you're from, what kind of music you play. And if you have a Bansicle website, post a link to it so I can check it out. So anybody who's a musician, anybody who's part of a band, anybody who's an artist in general, anybody who produces any kind of content or art that they want people to consume and experience, promoting yourself is an important part of that, right? And so it's all good and easy to build a website and put it out there into the world, but if people aren't finding it, if people aren't seeing it, if people aren't finding your music, then it's not as effective as it could possibly be. So what we're going to do is take looks at ways that you can go about promoting yourself. Okay. So number one, and this is probably the main one that's going to be website focused, is going to be updating your website. Okay. And this is the first thing that you need to do. And the reason that updating your website is important is kind of like there's multiple sides to it. So one, the big one is search engine optimization. So what search engine optimization is how YouTube how Google and all the other search engines prioritize your website and the keywords that are associated with your website. So let's say somebody's searching, grunge music in the specific town that you live in, or the state that you live in, or the country that you live in, whatever it might be, or just something even more specific to your genre of music. How highly you're going to show up in Google search results when people search for that is going to depend on your search engine optimization, how optimized your search results are. And so Google specifically, especially, prioritizes websites that are updated regularly. And so what does updated mean? Updated means that there's some kind of change to the content, right? Pretty straightforward. That doesn't have to be something major. It mainly just means that if, let's say, they're going through and crawling the text on each page of your website, if they detect some kind of change in the text, then that is considered an update. And so they'll penalize sites that are sort of dead in their eyes, meaning that every time they come back, whether it's once a week, every couple of days, however often Google comes back and crawls over your website, as they call it, to look for new content, if they don't find anything new for time after time after time after time again, eventually they're going to dock you priority points and basically push you down in search results. So doing some regular updates to your site, an easy way to do that is just like a news feed. You can have a blog post, a blog feature on your homepage or something where you just update with regular news, what you're up to. If, a new album is in the work, new music is in the works, so you're playing upcoming shows. So keep your website updated as often as you possibly can. That's a great way to go about doing it. And as we go along here, please feel free. The number of people in these lives always goes up and down. Right now we have about 4 people in here, but that spikes up, goes down as it goes. It's the nature of YouTube lives. But if you have any questions along the way, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, or again, any music recommendations, post a link to your website. Just feel free to be active in the chat there, and we can answer questions as we go here. Number 2 is choosing the right distributor. Okay, so obviously we have an affiliation with DistroKid, the worldwide leader in digital music distribution. We do recommend going with DistroKid for the reason that we do offer a discount for DistroKid. And I'll post a link in the chat here in just a few minutes if you are curious about music distribution. So what music distribution does is it gets your music on all different kinds of platforms, and specifically all different kinds of discovery platforms. Like Spotify can be considered a discovery platform, meaning that if people are searching certain genres of music, they can find you there and they can discover new music. And playlisters who might be searching for um, specific types of music to add to their playlists can find your music there as well and add you in, which will only help in how easily you can get discovered. Adrian, recently learned that and started turning my YouTube videos into blog posts. That's a great idea, Adrian. That's a really easy way to get updates to your website regularly. If you are posting content anywhere else, if you're producing content for socials, if you're producing content for YouTube, repurposing that and putting that onto your website is a great way to keep the content there fresh. Dave Whitcroft, does an integrated social media Xstream count as SEO like blogs? So embedded widgets do not. So an embedded feed, like an embedded X feed, like you were saying, does not count as an update. So it needs to be actual content added to your website into the actual code. So because an embedded widget, how it works, so let's say the Xstream, there's an HTML, a line of HTML that is to embed that widget, that Xstream, onto your website. That does not change. That code does not change. So when Google's crawling the code of your website, that line of code that embeds your Twitter or X feed onto your page is going to be the same every time they look at it. And so that code, what it does is it's programmed to pull information and display it on the website, but that doesn't change the actual coding of your site, if that makes sense. So you would want to update content more directly and nothing that's embedded. Very good question, Dave. Very, very good question. So digital music distributors will get your music listed onto all different kinds of platforms. So Apple Music, TikTok, for the music they have available for creators to use there. But the big ones, like the streaming platforms like Spotify, if you do want to get your music listed there, you need to go through a digital music distributor, which DistroKid does. So that is a great way to do it. And again, I just posted a link here. If you're curious about it, you can get a discount. I believe it's 50% off the first year. It's not expensive to begin with, but you get 50% off your first year there. For anything you do in the first year by using that link. So if you are curious and you're not using a distributor as of yet, you can check out DistroKid. Yeah, so we're going to talk about this a little bit more, actually, playlisters in a second, and why that's really useful. And that ties into why distributors are useful as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Building out your email list. Okay, this is extremely, extremely big. And we had actually a live on this recently. So if this is something you want to learn a little bit more about, you can go to our YouTube channel and click on the lives tab. And then from there, you can kind of view all the past lives, all these weekly YouTube lives that we've been doing. You can check them all out there. But we did one just solely on mailing lists and why those are useful and how to use them. So definitely go and check that out. But build your mailing list. And why mailing lists are useful is because they are an extremely, extremely effective way to market directly to your fan base. With social media can get use socials as well. My philosophy is always use everything, use every tool that's in your arsenal to promote yourself. So definitely make use of social media as well. But on socials, you're at the mercy of the algorithms, which is just the reality that we're all facing these days. When you post something, let's say on Instagram, you post something on Facebook, whatever it might be, you are only reaching a small percentage of your followers, because your followers, when they log in, just like you see when you log into your personal socials accounts, you might be like, oh, I followed this person, and it's like, I haven't seen anything they've posted in months. Are they still? And you go check out their profile and they've been posting. You're like, why haven't I seen those? That's really weird. Because when you log in, you see a mix of advertisements, you see a mix of things that the platform deems are going to be effective for you in terms of you interacting with them. So if there are certain accounts that you view more often, like certain accounts that you interact with more often in terms of commenting, liking, it'll show you stuff from them or from accounts similar to them before it'll show you stuff from people you follow. So when you're posting on socials, it's always a little bit risky in terms of how many people you're going to reach. There's no guarantee you're going to reach everybody there. So with an email list, you have a much, much, much higher rate of people that will actually see what you're posting. So the average read rate for people who send out a mass email through our platform to their subscribers is in between 30 and 40%. And in social media, the amount of the percent of I don't remember the exact term that they use for in socials, but the amount of people that see something that you post on socials that are followers of yours, it's in the 10 to 20%. So you're looking at like 2 to 3 times more effective in email marketing. And that 30 something percent is for people who have these huge lists of people who like maybe signed up years and years and years ago, weren't really effective. If you have a very good sort of like subscriber base of people who signed up relatively recently, who are active, who follow you, that number is usually pretty higher. Like the 30s bogged down by people who have very low read rates as an average percent view rate. But most people who regularly make use of email marketing, their read rates more in the 60-70%, which is really, really impressive. And it still is a very, very effective way to communicate with your fan base and market new album releases, new single releases, new merch items in your store, new gigs that you're playing, whatever it might be, even if it's just a regular monthly news update, to keep them involved and to keep them in your world, so to speak. Email marketing is still really effective. Adrian, I always make all my socials link back to my website. Yeah, no, that's huge. And because there's something called interconnectivity too, right? So the more people that find your website from an external place, even if it's one of your social media accounts, Google deems you as being more important because other places are linking back to you and people are clicking on those links and finding your website. So that helps boost in search engine optimization as well. But also, you always want to get people back to your website for multiple reasons. One, because you can sell direct to them, whether that be merchandise or digital downloads. It's always going to be better because they can view your other content that's on there as well. They can view upcoming shows. They can buy tickets to shows if that's something that you're selling and promoting through your website. They can check out your bio. They can sign up to your mailing list, whatever it might be. If you have fan subscriptions set up, they can become a paying fan and support you. We have all the crowdfunding tools that you can make a use on your site. Adrian, no, don't worry. I'm not going to take that the wrong way at all. You're right. Our mailing list platform. So there are dedicated mailing list companies like MailChimp. So we're not a mailing list provider, so to speak. We have it available. It's for free on all our plans, but it's not what we do per se completely. So you're right that it is very basic, and that's why it's free. We don't charge anything for it. It's available for people to use. It's kind of just like there for all our members to make use of if they want to. There are platforms out there that have a lot more detailed features for mailing lists that do, there's a cost associated with them, like Aweber, like MailChimp. MailChimp does have a free option, but it's very limited. So you're right. I completely agree with you. And there are plans to, in the future, the focus has always been perfecting the website builder and making that as good as we can make it and building out the options on there and giving people new design themes to choose from. So that's what we put our resources into. But you're absolutely right. So please don't still worry about taking it the wrong way. I agree with you 100%. We recently did upgrade the theme designer for when you're designing themes for your mail outs. We gave that a much needed facelift, which is amazing. And there are some updates coming for the rest of the mailing list platform that are planned in the future, but you're absolutely right, Adrian. But yes, make use of your mailing list. That's a great way to promote yourself. Now, this is the interesting one, getting on playlists. Okay. So getting on user Spotify playlists is huge. That is one of the main, I'm going to talk about the actual main discovery platform that's out there for people to find new music in a minute. But this is definitely number 2. It gets you in front of new audiences because a lot of people, I use Spotify for this reason. Most people I know use Spotify for this reason. I'm sure most of our users use Spotify for this reason, where you want to put on a playlist and you're in the mood for something. Let's say you're in the mood for jazz. So you search on Spotify jazz playlist, in their playlist section, you find one that looks decent or one that already, that's good. And you try out a playlist and you put it on the background while you're cooking, whatever it is, right? And you hear a song that catches your attention. You're like, oh, wow, okay, I like that one. Who is that? Oh, and that's how you can get new fans these days. And they find you there. It's like, oh, let me Google them, find their website, join their mailing list, whatever it might be. So getting on different playlists is key, okay? How do you get on these playlists? There's a couple of different methods, and each one will work to, as it says here, will have varying degrees of success depending on what you're looking to do. There are platforms like Submit Hub, okay? And another one called Soundplate that's free. And what these do, it's kind of like a resource for playlisters where they can go to find new music in specific genres that's categorized out for them and itemized. And it's a business for playlisters. I mean, people want They want people coming back to their playlist. They want to be like a go-to. They want people keeping listening to their playlist and subscribing to their playlist that they create on Spotify, that they curate. So, they're always looking for new stuff to keep it interesting and keep people coming back. You can also go to Spotify and search, let's say, at gmail.com, followed by your genre. So this will bring up playlists in your genre where the curators have listed their email in the playlist description. You can find them there. And what that does is you can reach out to playlisters directly. This is something that I've done before. It's something that is pretty effective. So you can reach out to big playlists in the genre, and you can send them an email and be like, hey, look, I'd love to be featured on your playlist. We do something that fit really, really well into the playlist that you've curated and put together. Here's some links to our music where you can check it out. And then if they like it, and again, they're always looking for new content. So for them, it's like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Cool, I'll consider you. Maybe they won't, maybe they will. If they add you in there, then that just increases your chances of getting discovered or getting in front of new faces. Yeah, Dave, the ability to put the recipient's first name. Yeah, I agree with you. That's one thing that the services like MailChimp or Aweber or things like that offer. And those are like those advanced kind of options that those dedicated mailing list platforms will offer for sure. And if that's something you want to use, I mean, MailChimp does have a free version. I think it's if you only have a certain amount of subscribers and you're okay with that and you're okay with what they offer, you can use them. And you can integrate that on your Band Ziegel website as well. You can just embed their sign-up form. So they give you like an HTML code to embed the sign-up form. You can embed that on your band website, and you can collect emails directly to there and use them instead, if that's a better tool for you. And that's something that when I was on the support team a long time ago, I'd recommend that to people. Like, look, if our mailing list tool is basic, if you need more than that, your business, so to speak, that you run here as an artist, as a band, if you feel like you need better tools, you can definitely go use them and incorporate it into your website here. That's totally doable. So yeah, I know what you mean. The first name where it auto fills the person's first name into the email. So it's a little bit more customized. Yeah, that's something that is really useful. I agree 100%. And second last, but definitely not least. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I cough every once in a while. TikTok, and I've mentioned this in a couple of lives now. I'm become like the TikTok guy, which is crazy. I never thought I would be. TikTok has become the #1 discovery platform for musicians, for people to discover new music. Make short clips of, if you have music videos of those, if you have live videos of those, of you just playing acoustic, you playing in your backyard, whatever it might be, whatever you think is interesting that you can put together in video forms, a short clip of your music or a full song. Get those videos ready, post them all over your TikTok account. Post them every day. Post it. If it doesn't do well, delete it, post it again. How TikTok works, it has an algorithm where when you post something, it pushes it out to a group of new people, of random people. Okay. And how people interact, let's say it's 10, pushes it out to 10 people. Out of those 10 people, they have their metrics. So if a certain amount of those 10 people interact with it, like, comment, or watch a certain percentage of it, it deems it successful and it pushes out to another 10 instantly. Another 10, another 10, another 10, and a snowball effect. And within seconds, that can grow to thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, whatever it is. So sometimes you might post something, you get bad luck in that first group that it pushes it out to, and it dies, gets 7 views and nothing. TikTok actually recommends, if that happens, delete it, post it again. Try a different time of day, because it'll push it out to new people, and you might have better luck with those new people. So what I recommend to musicians, and this might sound silly if you're not used to this kind of thing, create some videos, create little clips of your videos, and create a TikTok account and spam it with these videos. All right. And if one hits, keep it there. And that can be like a permanent post on your TikTok profile. But don't be afraid to experiment. If something doesn't work, delete it, get it off there. Don't keep something on your TikTok profile that has 11 views. Delete it, try posting it again tomorrow maybe, and keep the ones that are successful there. That's kind of like the methodology with TikTok. But it's a great discovery platform. That's how people discover new bands more than anything now. It's even, Spotify, I would say, is second, and TikTok is #1. So if you're not already, it's not just for teenagers doing dance routines anymore. Okay. It is the #1 discovery platform for music. Get on there, create a profile for yourself, start posting, see what happens. I have personal experience on there where sometimes I would post things and it would get 10 views. I had some that I posted that would get 50, 60,000 views. Okay. again, the algorithm, it's so mysterious and it's so random, and you never know who's going to interact, who's going to like it, who's going to watch it, who's going to comment, how you're going to get new followers. It's just such a great exposure discovery platform. So give it a try. It's, it's free, no cost to you. If you have these videos made already, you can just chop them up or post them as they are, and they're just experiment, see what happens. And last but not least, good ways to promote yourself. There's nothing that replaces the effect of playing live in terms of getting dedicated hardcore fans, people that see you live, that have that experience, that personal experience of connecting with you on stage. There's nothing that replaces that. That has been the case for the entire history of the music business, and it is for the foreseeable future still the case. That live in-person experience where people see you play is the best way to produce those quality followers who are going to buy your merch, who are going to buy your albums, who are going to join your mailing list, who are going to follow you on all the socials and comment on your posts, are going to fall in love with your music. That is the best way to do it. So if you're not gigging, you got to get gigging. That is the big thing. All right. And those are the 7 tips for promoting yourself as an independent musician. Of course, there can be more, but those are really the main ones. So you want to, give those a try if you haven't already. Yes, give it a try, Dave. Give TikTok a try and see what comes of it. And like I said, really experiment with posting, deleting. If something doesn't work, don't be shy to post it again, spam it, post it 10 times until it picks up a little bit. You'll see drastically different results. All right. Well, thanks everybody who popped in here. And we do these every week. We do these on Thursdays. Depending, the length of them really depends on the amount of people we have in, sort of the amount of interactions we're getting through the chat. But we do a different topic every week. So you can come back and watch the replays as well. You can click on YouTube, go to our YouTube profile, click on the live tab, and you can check them out there. If you like this kind of thing, check out our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, obviously you're here now, but the videos that we have sort of backlogged on the YouTube channel, if you haven't taken a look at them, we post weekly on the channel with music industry and music career advice tips there. So you can check those out. We have tutorials for all our different features that are offered as well, different like how to build a website tutorials, all the good stuff. All the good stuff is there on our YouTube channel. So, if you haven't already, subscribed to it, check it out, check out the past videos, and keep an eye open for these lives. Come out and say hi. All right, everybody, take care. Enjoy your Bandzoogle websites, and hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you get some good tips from this today. And yeah, we'll see everybody soon.